How you been, Brent, man? It's been a bit.
It has been a little bit too long, I would say, but we're working on that right now. I'm so happy to see you.
Yeah, great to see you. And I guess first we got to congratulate you. Awards. Like, I was shocked when it was the first ones ever. Like, how the hell?
Yeah, I've been nominated for multiple awards in the U.S., but very first time ever being nominated, and then the two that we were nominated for, I was completely stunned that we won them both. I was stunned that we won just in general, but we showed up and like they just handed them to us. We were like, "What?" No, it was
So
amazing. It was fantastic.
what are you gonna do with them? Where are you gonna put them?
I'm gonna give them to my parents.
Nice,
Yeah. My
nice.
parents get everything because I'm a nomad. I live in hotels. Like I'm a true minimalist. I had a house in California from like 2010 to 2016, but I was inside of it maybe 6 months of the 6 years I owned it. So I sold it. And I haven't I've lived in hotels ever since. So I'll give them to
Nice.
my parents. My parents get everything that I don't necessarily I have nowhere to keep anything. I live in two suitcases and I'm good with that.
It'll go in their little shrine.
Yeah, we'll go in the basement that's temperature controlled with all of my guitars that they had to have built for me a couple of years ago because a guy was in the house doing some renovations and he was like, "You do realize that like it gets moldy and moist like down here like during certain parts of the year?" And they're like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Yeah, you need to temperature control this because these guitars are worth like hundreds of thousands of dollars." So they'll get to take the awards and they'll, you know what, man, they're so proud of the band. They'll display it everywhere. It should go to them.
That's fantastic, man. I was looking and I heard you say something about yourself, and it really struck me in that you said you're an artist that is always in artist development. And I
Yep.
was like, does that help explain the growth that we see in Shinedown album to album? Like, it always sounds like Shinedown, but there's
Mhm.
an elevation.
Yeah, because I know what I signed up for, and I didn't sign up to make the same record over and over again or write the same song twice, or at least I hope that we don't do that. Look, I'm very lucky that I am in a band with the three brothers that I was always meant to be with, and I think that we all are cut from the same cloth. Where there's no secret to being successful in any industry. If you want to be successful in an industry, just don't ever arrive. That's how you're successful. Like there's always another mountain to climb. There's always another level. There's always another gear to go into. At the end of the day, man, I'm compelled. I'm constantly in development because I'm constantly inspired by music and by lyrics and by the message and just how people articulate certain things, different languages, different styles, fusing those styles together and just being unapologetic about being creative. So I've been given an opportunity to do what I dreamed of doing from the moment I entered the earth. I feel very lucky that I never ever wanted to do. I always knew what I wanted to do. I always knew I wanted to be a performer. I wanted to sing. I wanted to write songs. And I felt like I had a way of putting these kind of puzzle pieces that were these lyrics and words and song structures into something that makes sense. Um, and for whatever reason, I've been very lucky, and the band has been very lucky. Probably because we hold true to the authenticity of the music. I think that's why the fan base still continues to grow. So yeah, man, just the secret to the success is to never arrive.
And I love that quote. It, I will ask though, like when you do achieve a milestone, do you give yourself a second to smell the roses? Because my therapist at one time yelled at me that like you hit something that you're working towards, but then you're on to the next thing. You don't give yourself a second.
Yeah.
Do you give yourself that second?
Without a doubt. Yeah, absolutely. You have to, because then all of a sudden you're chasing something and then that compels you because you're just trying to say to yourself, well, I can do more. I can do more. I can do more. It's like, no, hang on a second. You're not trying to run away from something. You're trying to run to something. Okay. And there's a dynamic in that. But in order to go to the next step, your therapist is very smart. Like, give yourself, it's okay when you achieve it and the people around you, all of them too, give your high fives, give your hugs. It's okay to pat yourself on the back for a second. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
be in it for the moment, and then move on to the next adventure. if you will. But yeah, for the longest time, it was always like, that's not enough. We get to grind. It's like, yeah, you grind yourself into the pavement. You know what I
Very
mean?
true.
Like
Yeah.
you have to be able to flourish. You have to be able to grow. So I think that that's where people sometimes, that just comes with experience, though, I think, and with age. You're able to compartmentalize that a little bit better, and you can appreciate the hard work.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned like the band evolving and the fan base growing and stuff like that. I was curious too, do you feel more comfortable now in your songwriting? Like you've always shared personal stuff in the songs, but I almost
Yeah.
feel like there's more Brent in the songs now, if that makes more sense.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I'm definitely pulling from, life experiences. I can only write about from a lyrical standpoint. I can only write about what I know, but I have to be honest with you too, like especially the last two records, because the last two albums and the one that we're currently working on has been engineered, mixed, and produced by our bass player Eric Bass. So like it's very rare to have a band that has a band member that I can say this about him. He won't say it about himself, but I can say it. It's very rare to have a band member that is a literal composer and a savant in a lot of ways. Um, and so that kind of pushes me to really be able to take a step back and make sure that I'm incorporating everything about the guys I'm in a band with and like what they're going through, what I'm going through. And then we kind of hash that out with one another and kind of talk about it. We're still a band that loves one another. We still talk to each other. We still ride the same bus. We don't take separate planes. We don't have, when we're touring, it's 500,000 because we've done them both. We don't have separate dressing rooms. We don't like, we're still very connected to one another. So I think that from a lyrical standpoint and just from a musical standpoint, they allow me to be myself because I want them to be themselves.
Yeah, and that's amazing. And I want to go to another quote that I saw of yours was that rock and roll is supposed to be dangerous.
Yeah.
And do you think maybe part of the the whole rock is dead conversation, which I don't buy into, obviously, here we are talking about Shinedown, but
Yeah.
it's because it maybe got a little safe.
Well, I think, and I know said person that has been, at
Yes.
the forefront, and, said person, I also have to be, um, very honest about too, in regards that statement that rock is dead, that could be contrived though nowadays as that's a dangerous thing to say because is it dead? You know what I mean?
Mm.
And that's the question. Rock and roll was meant to push the envelope. It was meant to question authority. It was meant to also not take everything so seriously. Like loosen up. You know what I mean? Like sometimes like, being a tightwad isn't sexy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like have a sense of humor about yourself. It doesn't have to be so strategic. It doesn't have to be so firm, and it definitely doesn't have to be corporate. You know what I mean? And I think that the more that you take a step back and you look at what rock and roll is, I love the fact that now, rock and roll to a younger generation, I think about Sleep Token and what they're
Right.
doing. That's very rock and roll. That's super dangerous because people are like, they can't tap into it. Like people are like, why are they not like, what is this? I'm like, that's just very well orchestrated, is what that is. It's making you think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's asking the question. And then at the same time, the other thing that's dangerous, and why I say that, is a band like us, we don't necessarily fit into one box. Like rock and roll is a spirit. Rock and roll is a way of life for a lot of people. It's a community of people. That's why I say it's a spirit. That wasn't actually me that said that. Ice Cube said that when NWA was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the very first thing Ice Cube did is he walked on stage and he goes, rock and roll is a spirit, and we're proud to be here, and we appreciate everybody embracing this music because NWA, that is rock and roll.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was dangerous. And so, I have to think about it a lot of times where it's supposed to make you think. It's supposed to it's also, when I say it's not meant to be safe and it's meant to be dangerous, what I mean by that is take chances with your music. You know, don't follow suit with what everybody else is doing and trying to create a 2 minute and 35 second, song of the summer. If you're going into it, you're trying to write a song because you want to be famous and you think it'll, make you famous, you've lost the plot. The plot is that the plot doesn't exist. Be yourself, be true to who you are, and write about what you're inspired by and what you're motivated by.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I got so much, but I know we're tight on time. So the last one I wanted to get, you got the huge tour coming up. You guys are headlining like Madison Square Garden and all
Yeah.
this stuff. For you, like your journey that you've been very, public about your experiences through life and all that, how special is it for you to hit this point?
Man, I've said it this year. I've said it more so than not. Like, I'm proud of the last 20 years. It means a great deal to me. I'm ready for the next 20.
Nice.
So I'm kind of again, I'll pat myself on the back for a minute and then I'm like, get back to work, kid.
I love it. And we love the work, man. The new album's killer. I do have to tell you, stop writing songs that make me cry.
No
It's
shit.
just, it's tough. Like,
Hey man, you know, they made me cry first. You know what I mean?
Fair
And
enough.
that was the thing, because I was just like, well, if I feel this way, maybe the rest of the world will feel the same way. Dude, music is so powerful, and I think about it many hours of the day, how fortunate I am to be able to express this. But yeah, I'm very grateful in who we are as a band, that we're still pushing the envelope, and I would like to think that we're still writing compelling music that hopefully helps people get in tune with who they are, and how to move forward, not backwards.
Yeah, and I say that jokingly. I thank you for the songs that hit so hard.
Man, thank
You
you for
know,
playing the songs. Thank you for being supportive of the band. Without you, it doesn't exist. Without the fan base, it doesn't exist. And I mean that too. And to your listeners too, and to your community, they've been asking a lot, and we got a lot of announcements that we haven't done just yet for this year. Canada, you're at the top of the list. So
yeah, we want you back here.
big news coming soon. I will let you know. Like, we'll cry together. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm down for that.
Let's go, man.